Previously in our lab, we have used the registers that are based on my name, so they're unique, and we've done a few things. Currently, we have done this move, move, sub, JGE, add, jump, move, and int. And we went over this. This is found in the playlist linked below the like button. So we've done this previously. Now what we're going to do is we're going to modify it. So what we're doing here is after we have done that, after we've done all of that, we're going to assemble our command, or we're going to modify it. We're going to modify the program to display our name and title at the very beginning. And the way we're going to do this is with strings. So we're going to be introducing interrupt 21. And interrupt 21 is a multi-service interrupt. It's going to determine what we are doing based off what is stored in our AH register. We can see that for this one we have 9 being stored in our AH. Storing 09 tells our AH that the system wants to display a message. So we have our 09 here, and that's basically a code that's going to say, well, whatever is in our d of x we want to display. So the message that we want to display is stored in our d of x here. An easy way to input text without working with ASCII is by using E200 like this, and then we write in what we want as our string in quotes. And then once we are done with this, what we're going to want to do is we're going to run into this dollar symbol. And this dollar symbol is going to have a few things. It's going to stop our code, and we should know that it's going to continue printing. The E200 is going to continue printing until it hits our null terminator, which in this case is this dollar sign here. So once it hits this, it's going to quit. And so now we can try running this just by itself. So we know we're going to move 200 into our DX. We're going to move 09 into our A of X. We're going to have our interrupt and our interrupt 20. So we're going to enter our debug menu. We're going to paste this in. From here, we can see that using little endian, we have 0200, that's 200, going into our d of x. And then we have our 09 right here. And then we have our 21 here. And then our 20 here. So we press enter, we're done here. We can unassemble this by using U100, and we're just going to run it to 108. So we press enter, we can see our instructions here. And so that is it for that part. Now what we're going to want to do, what we're going to want to do is display our actual string. We're going to type in our string and display it. So our string is the E200, and then we have this text right here, and then our null terminator after this 0D 0A. So if we press enter here and then we do a data dump, we can see that it is inside of here, just like this. What we want to do is we want to actually run this with our previous code. So our previous code, recall this part. So this all looks familiar. Now we're just putting this on top of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our E100, and we're going to make a few modifications to it. If I just paste this in here. The modifications we're making is this first part. What we're going to have is a 0460 register, and that's where we're going to put our string in. So it's going to go up there. Then we're going to have our 09, and I believe this is actually slightly incorrect. We should have this register match this register, but I believe it also works like this. So we can just test this and see how it runs. We could also just change it as well. So we do 00 and 02 here. We can change it back if it doesn't work. So copy this, and then we'll just enter it in here with a little bit of change, and we can see that updates it slightly here. So if we were to press enter, and then we're going to unassemble to actually see what we've done, unassemble 100 to 11C, we have this right here. And so all of this looks good. It looks exactly how we want it to right here. If we are to compare it, it looks very similar. And so now from here, after our unassemble, we want to add values into our registers. I also noticed that I made a mistake here. I have register 454, and then I have 5505. But that's a mistake because we know that we are dealing with only 0555 and 0554. So this one down here is correct. The only thing that's mistaken are these two up here. You can see that they're slightly different. That's why it's always good to check our code when we are before we run it completely like this. So if we go back into our E right here, there's a few things I'm going to change. So we have the 0554. So it looks like it should be in here. So this should be a 05 if we have a 54. And then next this should be a 5505 because of our little endian. And so that looks good. And then we can change this, and I'm going to copy the U100 and everything inside of that. That way it'll unassemble it right after we run it. Pressing enter, we unassemble, and that checks out. So from here we're going to want to add values into our E554 and 555. So we're just going to add these values in. I just copied it from here. We have it right here. Now we're going to want to enter our value into our E200. So we're going to take this E200, I just changed it from E460. We'll copy it, press enter here to get out of that. We're going to paste this in, and then press enter. And so that should store this inside of here. Now we want to check our 200 to see what's inside of it. So we're going to do a dump, and we're just going to dump out our 200, and we can see that it is inside of here. So now all we have to do is run our program. So g is equal to 100, press enter. We have my name, we have the lab title, and we see that the program has terminated successfully. So I did have a small error right here. This should be register 200. So when we run this, all we've done is added this part into the previous code that we've done up here. And that we just did very recently. And now we changed a few things in here just to have it fit this right here. We needed this part up front for 200. We need our 09, our 21, and then 20. And then after this, we have the next part. So we have this part in here, and then we have our next part, and then so on and so forth for the rest of them. So then we have our unassemble, adding in our values, adding a value here, D200 just to check it, and then our G100 to run it. And so that is it for this part of the code, where after our program had hand assembled and is running, we use the assembly command modify the program to display our name and title of our program.